What do you want me to say, Melanie?
Or anything supernatural. Maybe I'm just have my feet too firmly on the ground, and maybe I'm just too realistic and too practical. Type of roles I like, where you can do the makeup and the hair and the crazy clothes, and you create a character. That's always been my favorite. And in Amityville 3D, I played. It was amazing. It was just beautiful. It wasn't like false walls with plywood and chicken wire. It was actual, like, built solidly inside a soundstage. So that was a lot of fun working on that movie. We had great people we were working with. In fact, Meg Ryan got her start on me, and I'm frosting over. But what was really happening was they were blowing wax onto me, and it was hot wax that was blowing onto me to look like frost. And it was really hard to breathe. They had a lot of big fans, and I was whipping my head back and forth, and I was getting covered with wax that was supposed to look like frost. And I had to use a lot of Tide on my hair to just get all that wax out. It took lots and lots and lots of work to get that wax out of my hair. But it was fun. It was a challenge, to try to breathe and scream and react and work with all that hot wax to wear, and very beautiful shoes and stuff. Well, anyway, somehow it disappeared at customs, and I wound up, suddenly we had to scramble and get new stockings and shoes and even clothing. And I remember the pantyhose felt like Brillo pads. They were so scratchy, but the shoes, in Mexico, they have a lot of beautiful shoes, but they're not really big enough for Americans' feet. And so all through that film, my feet were just killing me. Maybe it added something to the character, gave her a little bit of a pained look. And there was this one scene, we did this seance, and then I have to jump up and snap, expose it as a phony. But we had arrived in Mexico quite a few days before the shoot, and the producer took us to the pyramids right outside of Mexico City. and the steps are really small, and you're kind of walking up the pyramid on your toes, basically. And at that time, I was really at the gym all the time, and I thought I was in shape, but I got stuck. Both my thighs cramped up so bad, and I couldn't get down the pyramid. And so they had to come up, and some people had to rescue me and get me by under the arms and bring me back down. I couldn't walk for a week, and I was like really worried about what scene are we going to do first. And thank God it was the seance scene, which we were sitting down, because I was crippled. I had to hang on to the walls, and it was really, really bad. But the producer did that to me. He brought us out and was entertaining us. And anyway, there were a lot of good adventures on that film. I loved Richard Fleischer. He was just easygoing and a lot of fun, humorous. He seemed to like what I was doing. So, but he directed. He was a great boss. I would say I really enjoyed working with Richard Fleischer. I really did. I would have worked off of condensed air. And so they made this little box and put the dry ice in it. So I had to walk around like this. This big old box was in my mouth, and I had to breathe heavy so the effect would show. And then the other thing is that there's, of course the characters always walk into danger. So there's this one scene where we're trying to do 3D, and it was early 3D. It wasn't as effective as we all hoped it would be. But I go down into the basement, and there's something in the basement, of course. And I had this flashlight, and with 3D we had to like really stretch your arm out really awkwardly, and you know, twisted around so it looked like, you know, the arm was coming out with a flashlight over the audience's head. But to me, the 3D came out awfully dark, and I think they just transferred it into just two-dimensional film, and you know, that's the way it came out. They gave up on the 3D. But today's 3D is really fantastic, and that was a lot of fun, you know, just trying to imagine what it would be like to burn to death. But you know, these are the things that actors get a kick out of. It's a lot of fun. I never really want to burn to death. I never really want that to happen, but. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the film when I saw it. I had a lot of good memories about it. I thought it was edited really nice, and the scenes that I thought I was overdoing it, when I first went into the house and I'm looking around and I hear noises, you know, that looked appropriate, and my reactions looked fine, and you know, it was just a lot of fun. The people were really, really, really